Hello. Hey, Mindful Mama. Nice to have you here. There seems to be something wrong. I can't see myself. I tried fixing it, but for some reason the screen just doesn't show me. But I think that you can see me. At least that was the way it was last time, that people actually saw me, even though I can't see anything on the screen. So there's something not working, but yeah. Tell me if you can't see me, but I think it is working anyway. I hope you've had a good week and that you had some good practice. And ultimately, it's all about that you've really enjoyed your week, because I think about this a lot, or I run up against this a lot when yeah, good, you can see me. Hey, Amelie, nice to see you. I run up against this a lot when I watch, because I obviously watch other YouTubers who do meditation and spirituality, and it's so strange for me because I can barely remember what it was like, but I do have these memories of what it was like before I was a monk, when I thought it was really interesting with these questions of, okay, where did we come from? Where are we going? Or does meditation change your brain chemistry? Does meditation have the ability to make you see things? What do you call that? When you can see outside of where you are, so you can remote viewing, or what if you can affect other people or heal other people, or what if we can lift things with our mind? Like, all of those things seemed so important, and I was very curious about them. I remember seeing a video of monks who were sitting up in Nepal somewhere. I think they were Malay. No, what do you call them? The same as the Dalai Lama. I can't come up with Theravada and Mahayana monks. And they were sitting, and they had somehow heated up their body so much that they put wet rags on them. And when they put the wet rags on, it was steaming off their bodies. They're like, wow, that is so cool. Like, I want to be able to do that. And now when I look at that, it almost makes me want to laugh, because there's this story, I've said it before, and it really shows from the Buddhist perspective how pointless these things are. And there's a story, I can't remember the name of it, but basically what happens is that the Buddha is walking down the river, and he meets a really famous Brahmin, like a holy person. And that person thinks, oh, the Buddha, I'm going to show him how good and strong my meditation is. So he says to the Buddha, you sit down. And the Buddha sits down, and he listens to him, and they talk, and then he says, I'm going to show him a trick. So he takes his hand, and he just does like this, and he has ashes coming out of his fingers. And this was apparently a common trick, or a power that Brahmins were supposed to have, that they could create ashes from nowhere. And so then the Buddha doesn't say anything. He just reaches into the fire that had gone out and takes up ashes and does like this. And he says, I didn't need to meditate to do that. I just picked up the ashes. And then the Brahmin thinks, oh, I'm going to show him something really good. And what is the next thing he does? He does one more thing, but then the last one, there's always three, The last one is that he says, now I'm really going to show him how strong of a yogi I am, how strong my concentration is, and how good my siddhis, my powers are, that I've meditated so long. So he sits down, and he really concentrates, and he starts to levitate. And he levitates over the bank of the river to the other side of the river. And he lands, and he thinks, now that's going to show the Buddha what an amazing yogi I am, what a strong meditator I am. And so the Buddha just gets up, and he walks down 50 meters down the river, and there's a bridge. And he walks over the bridge, and he walks up to him, and he said, I didn't need to meditate to do that. I just walked over the river. And that story might seem like, well, what's the point? Why didn't the Buddha acknowledge that this was some incredible power? And the reason is that in Buddhism, and original Buddhism, and this is my belief also, we're not after becoming special. We're not after figuring things out. We're not after to become these powerful, strong human beings. In other words, to inflate our sense of self. Like, I'm no longer a normal person. I'm now someone really special because I can levitate. I can see into other places that aren't here. I can talk to other dimensions. I can change the world. All of those things are the ego. That's the self wanting to be special. I want to do special things. And I'm not discussing whether those things are possible or not. That's kind of besides the point. It's not relevant. But the reason the Buddha didn't think there was anything, I mean, he always said that strong concentration is a skill that should be valued, and it's good. But just doing that kind of leads nowhere. So you can, like, imagine if you sat there and meditated for 30 years or 50 years, and eventually you were able to levitate over the river. So what? You're still suffering. You're still having bad days. You're still not enjoying being alive. And you have to have this really strict regime to, like, focus your mind so that you can levitate and be really focused all of the time. You're still suffering. You haven't really done anything except for, like, levitating over the river, which is cool, but it hasn't solved anything. So in Buddhism, the main goal is to overcome this thing called suffering, which I call distortion, or this push and pull that you have with the world around you, this thing that constantly is in the way, making you not be able to see or hear or take in ideas what other people are saying, because you are coming in with your sense of self, pushing against that, thinking it's right, it's wrong, it's good, it's bad. This is not what my tribe is telling me, or what my elders are telling me, my religion, my beliefs. And we can't see the world for what it really is. We just see it through this filter, which is I. So overcoming that, when you do that and you can really experience the feeling of just being, of just walking around, not needing to analyze everything, not needing to have the world be a particular way, not getting angry with people cutting you off in traffic, not being angry about the state of the world. Is it, like, honestly, I think that I'm 47 years old and I don't think it's ever been as bad as it is right now. To be honest, I mean, it really sucks in so many ways. And it makes me think, like, what's going to happen to my children when they grow up? And that's not being naive in the sense that, oh, I don't care about it, I'm just going to ignore it. No, I can still be aware if something happens that's urgent and I need to take action and change it. I can very much do so, but the feeling that I am okay the way it is right now, that I am safe, that I am enjoying being here, because if you're constantly off in your mind being upset by things, being angry with things, criticizing things, thinking people are good or bad, right or wrong, and you're having these things going on the whole time, you cannot enjoy being here. And that is a skill that is so much more valuable than being able to levitate over a river or get ashes to come out of your hands like this Brahmin was doing. And that's why when you start experiencing the world like this and you see how easy it is, hey Nadia, nice to see you. Yes, we're well. I hope you are too. When you start realizing this and seeing how easy it is in one way to actually feel good when you start focusing on it. And this is one of the issues I have with how practice is done today, is that so much of it has to do with becoming neutral. And if you become neutral, you're not enjoying being here. I mean, going through neutrality is often how we get to feeling good. But if you really want to enjoy being here and feel good, it is a conscious choice that you need to make. It's not going to happen by itself. If you sit and meditate, there will be bliss, there will be all these things, ruptures, and there will be moments when you just love being here, but that's random stuff that comes up. But if you really want to enjoy being here, you have to decide that you're going to let go of this identity, this thing here in the way that's constantly making it difficult for you to enjoy being you. And thinking that you need to confine to the what do you call that? The conditioning of your parents, of your society, of the stereotypes in the world as we have them, male, female, career, partnership, and how everything needs to be. See, Amelie is saying, I used to meditate for mental health, but now I do it more to silence and stillness. Still helps me mentally, though. That's a really good point, because what I'm saying comes with a caveat, kind of. When you're feeling really bad, it's going to be difficult to do this. So then, absolutely, use meditation as a tool to calm you down. If you sat enough with the mind, there will be times when the mind just is painful to observe, when it feels like it's breaking. And I mean, I meditated so much that I felt this quite a lot, when the mind just kind of cramps up. And for me, it's part of the burnout. My nervous system cannot handle too much stimuli. And then it feels like the mind is just cramping up And that happens when I have lots of things happening. The kids are yelling, screaming, everyone's upset, lots of things to do at work, and my neck is hurting me, so maybe I sleep. I had last week 2 nights when I slept 3.5 hours per night, and in a row, and that really together with the other, and this cramp, my mind simply isn't able to take it in. Then we really use strong concentration exercises, breathing, like breath work and stuff can be really good to just turn it down, calm yourself down, and just be present. Hey, it's real nice to see you. You say it's conscious choice. Do you remember the moment that you made the conscious choice? It's a continuous choice. It's not, oh, I choose it now and then it's done, kind of. I wish it was that easy. Even though there is some truth to that. There is some truth to it, because there is a point when you realize that it is a choice. Because I remember last time we spoke, and we were talking about this, and we've had this discussion here as well. People don't feel that it is a choice, because it feels like I can't choose it. And I remember that, even though I intellectually oh yeah, it makes sense. But why the heck can't I choose it? Why doesn't it work? Because you still haven't really seen that you can do this. And that comes after just observing it over and over and over and over again, and breaking that barrier. And eventually it just becomes kind of painful to not feel good. And you go, why am I over here feeling bad? It makes no sense. I know that my inner state and how I feel has nothing to do with what's going on around me. And I know that it's a choice, but I still can't make it. That is kind of a once you really understand this and you can really see it, and I think it has to do when you experience this, what I call non-centricness, and you can really walk around and say, hey, wait a minute. It's almost like there's another world existing at the same time as everything else, where everything is peaceful, everything is calm, there is no struggle, there is no fighting, there is no problems, there are just things happening. And we can intellectually understand this, and people take the perspective of the universe. Okay, the universe can have that. That's really the way it feels to walk around, and it's so peaceful, it's so like far superior to normal life. And it's just when people experience, they go like, I want to feel like that all the time, but without the intensity, because it's just such a soft state. So that would be kind of a conscious realization, a conscious choice. But choosing to feel good is something that you kind of, it almost like, I don't dare to. I can't, because the other power is too overwhelming to pull me into feeling bad. And then you make small choices, like you make it with, I had to I have my telephone and my screen protection went off, and I ordered a new one, but I accidentally ordered the screen protection for the camera lens. And like, okay, and then I looked at my history of Amazon when I ordered, and I ordered a new one, okay, and I got the wrong one again. It was the screen protection for my fiance's telephone. And then I ordered the right one, which came yesterday. But yesterday, in the evening it came. During work, I had put my wallet in my pocket with the telephone, and I got 2 big scratches like this on the telephone. I was like, if I would have just done the right thing, if I wouldn't have had that, and my mind started going like, oh no, and I've taken so much care of it, and I ruined it. That's a choice. I can choose, and I could feel my mind going into there, and I'm like, well, that's dumb. Like, it happened. Just accept it. And there's a part of me like, no, I don't want to accept it, because this is bad. This hurts. I can just choose to feel good. And what happened? I scratched it. Yes, it's a shame, but I can't do anything about it now. I can't change the fact that I scratched it. All I can do is make sure that I don't scratch it anymore. So after that, I didn't have my wallet in the pocket with it. I put it in my here, and then I immediately, as I got the protecting, I put that on the screen so I wouldn't scrape it again. And I stopped feeling bad about it. There's no reason, like it's done. But me 10 years ago would have been like, oh my goodness, oh my telephone. I'm going to have to look at that damn scratch the whole time. When I sell it one day, it's going to be worth, it's going to cost me 500 kronor. Or like, I'd be making up all these stories about it. And that is a choice you can make. And then after that, there's bigger choices. Oh, I have problems with my neck. Well, do I really need to feel bad about that? Do I need to go around and have this pressure on top of the pain? I'm not talking about the pain. The pain will be there, like the pain doesn't go away, but the reaction you have towards it. And that is a choice. Happy to hear you're not having any migraine, Nadia. But my migraines suck. Big time. Does that make sense, Asriel? Like, what I'm saying, it's not that it's one choice and you're done for the rest of your life. There's a realization when you've been able to see that you're able to do it, when you're like, okay, I don't just understand it intellectually, I believe this because I've done it myself. And then you start doing it more and more, and eventually it really becomes a choice, as it was for me yesterday when I scratched the screen. And I know it's like, oh, I did this, and I could feel the pattern that I have. When I do something like that, I tend to blame myself, feel bad about it, and go into thinking, oh, if I would have only, if just, and you know, if I just would have, if someone has a car accident, if I would have just forgotten my wallet, if I would have just done this different, this bad thing wouldn't have happened. And I had that a lot before, and now that's much easier because I can make the choice. But I've had to look at it many times before I got to the point where I was able to do that. And I can't actually remember the first time that happened. I think it was a gradual process because no one told me about this. I had to kind of figure it out myself, and it just came very natural by observing how I felt when I was in Plum Village and feeling this good feeling, because then I had the kind of the momentum of just feeling good the whole time. Just walking around feeling good, and then something happened that was bad, and I could see how my mind went into, oh, this is bad, but then I didn't have to follow it. My mind was going like, oh no, this thing happened here, that means bad, but I had no reaction towards it. It was just something that happened, and I could clear-headedly, thinking clearer than I ever could before, what am I going to do about this problem? That's the other benefit. When you don't have this distortion in front, you're no longer kind of pushed down by this feeling of, oh, it can be good, it can be bad. You have to make it right, because if you do it wrong, something terrible is going to happen. No one tells you what's going to happen, but it's going to be really bad if you fail at life. When that's gone, it's just choices. You can't fail. I mean, you can do something that leads to you losing your home or you ultimately dying, but there's not the feeling I can fail at life, because you cannot fail at life. It just happens. It's choices you make. If you have a story of life and it's supposed to go to that point there, perfect husband, wife, perfect wife, perfect husband, perfect job, ultimate like experiences, perfect body, then from that perspective you could say you failed, but the feeling of failing isn't there. Amelie, I catch myself having certain thoughts and getting rid of bad thoughts or changing them, and that's for me one of the things I love most about meditation. Okay, so here I want to really point something out, which is, I understand what you're saying, Amelie, and I understand how that makes sense, but I am not talking about changing thoughts. That is a losing concept. You cannot do that long term. You can do it with certain things short term. That's positive thinking. So that would be, I scratched my screen, like I said on the telephone. Sorry, this will make more sense when I say, I just spoke about how I scratched my screen. That was bad. If I would have said what you're saying, changing my thoughts, that would be positive thinking. So I would say, oh, I scratched my screen, but the reason, actually, I scratched my screen, but it's okay, because I will get a new phone in 3 years, so it doesn't matter. Or, it's actually good, I scratched my screen, and that means that since it's scratched, I'm going to use my telephone less, which makes me live longer. Or, since I scratched my screen, I will actually have to stop one time with my car even more. I mean, I don't actually watch my telephone while I'm driving, but if I would, I'm not going to watch my screen while I'm driving and the sun is in my eye. I'm going to stop, and that saved me from an accident. That means you have not faced the difficult sensation. You're explaining it away. You're saying, no, this is actually a good thing, or it doesn't really matter, or in the long run, this is unimportant. That's how most people deal with it. And that means you have not really faced the problem. You've just explained it away as to why you don't need to feel bad about it. What I'm saying is, allow yourself to feel what it feels like. There was pain in me that came up, like old pain, of ruining things accidentally or scratching the car or something, like, oh, it hurts. And we don't want to feel that. So we say, oh, it hurts. Well, actually, it's a good thing because, oh, okay, I feel better now. So you temporarily make yourself feel better. But next time you scratch your car, telephone, like, I don't know what, like your finger or whatever, it's going to be the same problem again. But if you actually allow that feeling to come up and you see it's nothing there, it's not dangerous, it's just a feeling that and then that disappears. So instead of just explaining in a way, we allow ourselves to feel it and see, oh yeah, this hurts. And it's a pretty silly thing to do. Why am I letting this ruin my life when I can choose to be happy now and accept this happened? Not explain it away, not think it's a good thing, a bad thing, I'm going to forget. No, but actually feel, oh, I did this. I can still choose to feel good. I don't need to have this distortion, because it is a distortion, and by positive thinking you're kind of explaining it away so you don't have the distortion. But the thing here that is going to latch on to the next thing is still there, and you can never ever keep up with the mind. You can never come up with enough explanations to make sure that you never have anything difficult coming up. And if you stop doing it, you're going to start binding these things up again. But if you look at it the way I'm talking about and actually allow yourself to feel it, it's like it washes it away. You can't make that connection anymore. And if the pain from scratching your telephone was 100 the first time, when you really go through it and feel it and see, oh, I don't need to feel bad about this, it might go down to 50 or 80 or 60 or 20. And then every time it scales away a little bit and it becomes easier and easier. And then you don't have to deal with it anymore. That's why this is actually a permanent fix. And it's also why I believe that there's a point where there will simply be no things left that you need to work with, because there's no distortions anymore. If you just keep taking things away, and that's what's happening to me. It makes a lot of sense that would just make it meet at one point where it's just, oh, I just don't need to do this crap at all. I can just choose to feel good all the time, which would be what Azrael is talking about. I still haven't gotten to the point where I am able to make that choice, but I can see how that would be possible to do if you did this over and over and scaled away. And even if you didn't, just taking away more stuff makes life so much easier when you don't have to feel bad about the way you look, about the way other people treat you, about the way what you have around you, about how much money you make, about where you are in your life, about what education, like just start slowly scaling away on small things and life becomes much easier and enjoyable. Does that make sense? And I don't mean this in a bad way at all, because what you're saying is exactly what everyone does when they get into spirituality, and it's one of the things that I believe really makes people stagnate, because you can't go beyond that. It will always be there. And the people who say they do, they put on a face when they're like on stage, but then when they're by themselves, like then they still have to face all this stuff. And they know it's impossible to constantly do that with everything, and it takes a lot of effort. What I'm talking about, you just deal with when it comes, and then you wash it, and then you free up all this mental energy to just observe and enjoy and be here. I hope that makes sense. Tell me if it didn't. Oh, by the way, thank you for explaining. Yeah, try it out and be kind to yourself. Like, don't think this is like, if you think, I failed, I'm doing it wrong, then you're doing the opposite. Like, just, oh yeah, interesting, I'm going to try that out. It matters not at all if you believe or don't believe me. It doesn't really change anything. You really need to experience this yourself, which is why this is not the same as if you want to do concentration meditation, you just come back to the same point. Eventually you will get concentration, you'll have these experiences. I can say, do this for X amount of time, you will get this result. What I'm talking about here, there's no linear path. It's just a matter when you can allow yourself to do this, it will happen. And that can go in 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, 50 years. There's no, it doesn't matter how many times you do this. You just need to see it enough for you to allow yourself to do this, to see that this is something I don't have to continue doing, meaning fighting the world, believing that you need to get angry with everything. Nadia, I'll have to listen back to this. My daughter won't stop chatting this evening, and I can't concentrate. That's good. Yeah, this is actually this is a really interesting conversation, and it's a very relevant point that is kind of a pillar of what I'm trying to teach you. I was going to say there will be some changes from next week on. I will actually change, and I hope everyone's okay with this. Tell me how you feel about it. That from right now it's 8 p.m. Central European time. I will change that so we start the meditation at 7:30 p.m. Central European time. So we'll be half an hour earlier. And the reason is that it's just been, it's difficult for me to have the meditation so late, because I noticed now that I have my ring and I can see how I sleep. Mondays and Thursdays I usually sleep worse, because I love these kind of discussions, and it means like even though we meditate, I kind of get up in like energy, so it's more difficult for me to fall asleep after. So I'd want to have it half an hour earlier, and that way it will be easier for me to go to bed after. And my sleep is my highest priority pretty much now. So I hope everyone's okay with that, but it will be starting from next Monday. We'll also have this Sunday at 3 p.m. we're going to have the group coaching call on the Discord chat. So if you want to join that, then that'll be this Sunday. Good, I'm happy, and I hope it doesn't mess with people's schedules. Very likely will be that we'll be chatting for half an hour, and then we'll start the meditation at 8 o'clock instead. So it will just be like, shifted forward half an hour. And it will make it much more easier for me, because I feel that sometimes it is difficult with these evenings because it becomes quite late. I go to bed very early, because when I wake up in the middle of the night, if I have those extra hours of sleep in the beginning, the day after is just much nicer. So yeah, I'd like to try that. Someone also messaged me and asked why I haven't released any videos, and the reason is that YouTube has gotten to really weird, have gotten my channel into a really weird algorithm, thanks to something called automatic dubbing. So basically they translate all my videos to all kinds of languages. Instead of having a target group in Europe and the US, which is my main target groups, I now have them like in Japan, like I think I had the Philippines or something, like just off, and they will just hear my dubbed voice, which misses kind of the intonations and the points of what I'm trying to say. And my material just is difficult to consume that way. So I'm taking a break for about a month, and then I'll be starting again, and I'll be a bit more focused on what I actually want to share when I do. So probably another 2 weeks or so, and then I'll start making videos again, just so you know. Cool. I was saying that I wanted to change it also a bit. Mondays we have guided meditation, but today, Thursdays, we usually just sit together, and we will sit together as well. But we're going to make something a little bit different. We'll be doing breathwork exercises, or some other kind of meditation where we do something else before the meditation. I have quite a few. I mean, I never thought of it as breathwork because that term wasn't popular the way it is now when I did it. But I have quite a few ways that I started my meditation, usually before the meditation, that just kind of gave me a burst of energy and made it easier for me to sit with the meditation. And ultimately I would do the same thing as we're talking about, just being aware, observing, letting go of distortion, and focusing on enjoying being here. But if you have more energy when you start sitting, it's easier to do that. So today we're going to do the same thing we did, I think it's 2 weeks ago now, because I thought we'll take one technique and we'll do that for 2, 3, 4 times, something like that. So or maybe a month we'll do. So say September is this technique, and then next month we do another technique. So last time we were talking about coherence breathing, and that has to do with heart rate variability. It's a marker that you can actually measure. I can do with this ring. I also have a belt that's much more precise, and you can see the difference in how able my heart is to change its beating pulse with in-breath and out-breath. And that's a sign of how relaxed you are, or how healthy your body is, kind of. And you can raise that. You can improve that by doing a special way of breathing. I have a recording which has a sound that goes in for, I hope I say this correct, it's in for 6 seconds and then out for 4 seconds. So a full in and out breath is actually 10 seconds. It's very slow. We breathe through our nose, and you don't have to do it like it doesn't need to be like that. I've noticed that when I check my HRV scores, they're best when I just do it slowly. So I do in and out, and I do it, but I do it in a relaxed way. I might even go to the end of out and then just stop and wait for the in-breath. That way my heart rate variability score goes up more. And this is something that if you practice this, your heart will get better at doing this. And I have seen it myself when I use this method, and I tried box breathing. There's all kinds of other techniques. You can see how immediately when you do something with your mind and your breath, you can change your physiology immediately. And that is a really powerful thing to see, because for most people, when you start meditating, it's okay, I'm sitting here. Is anything happening? Is this working? But when you can see markers like that, it makes it much easier to feel like you're getting somewhere. So we'll do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method more quickly today, and then after that I will start the meditation, and I will start the recording. It will go on for 5 minutes. After that, just sit for yourself for 15 minutes, and then we finish the meditation. So 5 things we can see, 4 things we can feel, 3 things we can hear, 2 things we can smell, and 1 thing we can taste. We'll just say them out aloud, and you do it on your end, I'll do it here. So I can see 4 fire extinguishers. I'm really prepared for fire. I can see papers. I can see a plant. I can see the red light under a mouse. And I can see my keys. 5 things I could see. Next, 4 things that we can feel. I can feel a piece of fabric against my bum, giving me better posture. I can feel my leg. I can feel this metal cylinder. I can feel tea running down my throat. I can feel my woolen sofa. Nice. Next we have 3 things that we can hear. I can hear the fans of my computer. I can hear the engine of a car. I can hear the wheezing of my breath when I'm breathing. 3 things I could hear. Next, 2 things I can smell. I can smell furniture. And there's a musky smell in here from something. There's 2 things I could smell. Next, 1 thing I can taste. I can taste mint. Yeah, mint. I will turn on the recording, and you will hear the sound, and I will breathe with you. I will make it a little bit louder so you can actually hear the breath, and then you just tune in and follow that, and it will last for 5 minutes. So that's in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. And just keep meditating by yourself with whatever technique you like. The timer has 15 minutes left. Thank you. That was, it's always interesting to try different things. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Sunday, 3 p.m. Central European Time for the group coaching call. And the next week on Monday, we'll meet up at half an hour earlier than now. So hoping that doesn't cause any problems for anyone, but you're able to join as well. Wish you a great weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you.